Welcome to Morning Vibes with Dr. Jerry the First, episode 140. This Wednesday, 31st day of January 2018. My name's Dr. Jerry the First Oguzie, and today I'm discussing the topic: if you have to choose yourself first this year, these are the 8 things to throw overboard. In one of my podcasts on the 3 critical choices to make in order for 2018 to be a very great year to you, I had advised that you should make a conscious decision to choose yourself. I had given a plethora of reasons why you should do so. But the executive summary of that podcast is that if you don't choose yourself and be the best you can be, nobody else will do it for you. And so, if you have to choose yourself and become the best of you in 2018, then there are certain habits which you have picked along the way and which I want to suggest to you to drop them like a hot piece of charcoal burning up your palm. And so today I'm discussing negative thinking. What is negative thinking and why eliminate it? What are negative thoughts and why are they worth eliminating? These are excellent questions to ask, because if you want to stop thinking negatively, it's important to first understand what types of thoughts you are trying to eliminate and why. Negative thinking is a way of thinking that doesn't benefit you at all. Sometimes it even has an immediate negative impact on your life, since it can contribute to things like stress, anxiety, and depression. More especially, you can think of negative thinking as being a way of thinking that doesn't help you achieve something you want or even works against you. It doesn't help you feel any better. In fact, it even makes you feel worse. It is useless and doesn't help you to improve your life. In fact, it even makes your life immediately worse. With these negative qualities, negative thinking doesn't help you in any way. Instead, it often works against you and makes your life worse and miserable. Now, negative thinking is not wrong. The only thing is that it is useless. The most common reasons for getting rid of negative thinking are that it often makes you feel bad, makes you feel less confident, and makes you less successful in life. The overall defining characteristic of negative thinking is that it is useless and doesn't improve your life in any way, or even immediately makes it worse. However, this does not mean that negative thinking is the wrong way to think, only that it is useless for improving your life, and that it doesn't even make much sense to do so, especially when you consider that you can think in other ways. Take a glass of water that is half full. Is the glass half full or half empty? To understand this, consider the classical example of looking at a glass and thinking whether it is either half full or half empty. It's neither right or wrong to look at the glass as either half full or half empty. However, if looking at the glass as half full naturally makes you feel happier, while looking at the glass as half empty naturally makes you feel depressed, then what is the sense in looking at the glass as half empty? So, negative thinking is not very sensible. For this example, if you want to be happy, it makes no sense at all to look at the glass as half empty rather than half full. After all, this is useless, is self-destructive, and completely counterproductive. Even if it is completely valid and an acceptable way of thinking, so what? Negative thinking is still not sensible. So this example we are giving here captures the essence of what eliminating negative thinking is all about. getting rid of that thinking that is useless, non-beneficial, and counterproductive, and therefore not very sensible, no matter how valid that thought might be. So what's the immediate impact of negative thinking on you? Now that you have a clear idea of what negative thinking is and how to identify it, the next question is, so what? Why change your thinking and take steps to stop thinking negatively? Because you can live a much richer, more enjoyable, more successful life without the consequences of negative thinking. That's why. And the more your mind understands this, the more your mind is energized and motivated to help you stop thinking negatively. In this way, learning this information helps you to get rid of negative thinking faster and easier. Negative thinking has an immediate destructive impact on your life because the moment you have a negative thought, it's already hindering you from achieving something that you want, it's making you feel worse, and it's not adding negative value to your life in some way. This means that there are no positive benefits of negative thinking, like we have the benefits that exist with positive thinking. With this in mind, therefore, let's go into greater detail about how negative thinking adversely affects your life. These are the effects of negative thinking. So the primary reason to let go of negative thoughts is that they prevent you from enjoying all the benefits of positive thinking. Now, once this is clear to your brain, it is more motivated and energized to help you take steps to stop negative thinking. And this is how you start eliminating negative thinking on autopilot. With this in mind, here are 11 effects of negative thinking, which are also 11 ways that negative thinking prevents you from enjoying the benefits of positive thinking. A less worthwhile life instead of a more worthwhile life. That's what negative thinking brings about. Less confidence instead of greater confidence. Lower self-esteem instead of higher self-esteem. Less happiness and enjoyment instead of more happiness and enjoyment. Less feelings of strength instead of greater feelings of strength. Less energy instead of more energy. Less peace of mind instead of more peace of mind. Less success instead of more success. Less enjoyable social interactions instead of more enjoyable social interactions. Less health benefits instead of more health benefits. Less clarity of mind instead of greater clarity of mind. So since you have a choice, you can see it doesn't make sense to think in negative ways that hurt you instead of positive ways that help you. The more you appreciate in your own unique way, that's the way that makes complete sense to you, why negative thinking does not have a positive impact on your life, and why you're much better off without it, the more energized and motivated your mind is to help you get rid of negative thinking. Keep in mind that the less value your mind sees in negative thinking, the easier it is for you to let go of negative thoughts. For this reason, it's in your own best interest to not build up a lot of negative value in your mind about how horrible the effects of negative thinking are. Instead, it's better to focus on how negative thinking doesn't benefit you at all, therefore holding no positive value to you, and why you will benefit from getting rid of negative thoughts. This type of constructive analysis is how to energize and motivate your mind to help you get rid of negative thinking faster and easier. So as you can see from the foregoing, negative thinking appears to be more prevalent. It comes easily, effortlessly, and often uninvited. And this has much to do with our education and the environment one has been living in. If you have been brought up under poor or difficult situations, you will more probably be more inclined to negative thinking. It's easy to fall prey to negative thinking. Having negative thoughts play out like a movie can only bring you pain. Negative thoughts drain you of energy and keep you from being in the present moment. The more you give in to your negative thoughts, the stronger they become. I like the imagery of a small ball rolling along the ground, and as it rolls, it becomes bigger and faster. That's what one small negative thought can turn into. A huge speeding ball of ugliness. Negative thinking makes us unable to enjoy life. Now, we view the world through our predominant mental attitude. If our thoughts are negative, our life and circumstances would probably mirror those thoughts. If you believe that you're going to fail, you will unconsciously sabotage every opportunity to succeed. If you're afraid of meeting new people or having close relationships, you will do everything to avoid people and relationships and then complain that you're lonely and that nobody loves you. The power of negative thinking in action. Do you often think about difficulties, failure, and disasters? Do you keep thinking about negative news you see and hear on television or read about in the newspapers? Do you see yourself stuck and unable to improve your life or your health? Do you frequently think about that you do not deserve happiness or money or that they are too difficult to get? If you do, then you will close your mind. You will see no opportunities and you will behave and react in such ways as to repel people and opportunities. Often the mind does not judge or examine thoughts and opinions before accepting them. If what it hears, sees, and reads is always negative, it accepts negativity as the standard mindset. The media constantly bombards the mind with a lot of information about disasters, wars, kidnappings, catastrophes, and other unhappy events. This information sinks into the subconscious mind and then manifests as your habitual manner of thinking. Watch and hear the news, yes, because you need to know what is happening in the world. However, be careful not to overdo it. Be careful not to let what you hear and see on the news affect you too much. If you occupy the mind with depressing and pessimistic thoughts, you radiate negative energy into the surrounding world and therefore create and recreate more negativity, failures, and disasters. Like you know, the mind is neutral energy. The way you think determines whether the results are positive and beneficial or negative and harmful. It is the same energy acting in different ways. The good news is that persistent inner work can change your habits of thinking. But you must be willing to put the energy and time to pursue positive thinking in order to change your mental attitude. The power of negative thinking is quite strong, but with some effort on your part, you can overcome it. You can overcome this power of negative thinking by taking a cue from these simple tips I'm going to give you now in order to overcome the negative thinking. 1. Every time you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, replace that thought with a positive one. If you catch yourself visualizing failure, visualize success instead. If you hear yourself using negative words in your conversation, switch immediately to positive words. Instead of saying I cannot, say I can. Most of the time you can, but you choose to say you cannot because you're afraid or you're mentally lazy or you lack self-esteem. Do you repeat negative words and phrases in your mind? Change them to positive ones. Yes, this requires you to be very much alert and to put in some effort. You want to change negative thinking into positive thinking, don't you? Allow more positive attitude into your life. Have more faith in yourself and expect positive results. Affirmations and visualization can take you a long way in this direction. Decide that from today, from this very moment, you are leaving negative thinking behind you and starting on the way toward positive thinking and behavior. Negative thinking has a great effect on everyone's life. It leads to failure, unhappiness, and lack of satisfaction, to worries and to fears. However, there's no reason to let it affect you tremendously. You can set yourself free by following the tips I've suggested here, or even the guidance and advice you can find in millions of articles and books available online and offline. If you realize just how powerful your thoughts are, you would never spare a single minute to entertain any negative thinking ever again. Until I come your way again, this is Morning Vibes with Dr. Jerry the First. This program is powered by Top Media Communication Nigeria. All rights are hereby reserved. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And if it has resonated with you, kindly subscribe to our channel and also give us a thumbs up to like this podcast. You can also read the text on our blog, and you can also like our Facebook page to keep in touch with the broadcasts as we make them. Please get the links to our blog and our Facebook page right in the description below.